This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And if you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World this year, want to take advantage of some great rates and a partner to help you plan your next trip to Walt Disney World, then the grid agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you do just that. They can help you take care of everything, whether you're a beginner and want to have your handheld, or maybe you're an advanced Walt Disney World expert and you just don't want to have to deal with all the little stuff anymore. You want to focus on the big stuff. They can help you do any of that. Give them a try. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, April 1st, 2009, and this is episode 546 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hodgeberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, April Fool's jokes are just so beneath us, and we would never stoop low enough to try some cheap April Fool's joke, right? Episode 238. Episode 38.
Yeah, I mean, ever since Newell died, it hasn't been the same. If you play Mouse World Radio backwards, it's all...
Oh, God, he's dead. Oh, God, he's dead.
Like
Oh, God, he's dead, yeah.
I'd like to remind you all, though, that Mouse World Radio is called Hodgeberg World Radio. Thank you.
Exactly, in Matt World Radio.
That was his dying wish, I believe.
I believe so. Too bad you were the only one in the room when he said it.
That's right. But, I heard it right through the muffles coming from beneath the pillow. It was amazing. Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for AllEars.net. Welcome, Mike.
How'd that get unplugged? Gosh, how'd that get unplugged?
Oh, Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Mickey's Phil, that's right.
Very nice. We are Newellist today, but it's a listener question day, and we'll start out with a question from Scott, who writes, "Hello, Matt, Mike, Len, and Annette. Here is all the usual stuff said. I'm an avid fan of the podcast. I listen to all the time, and we have finally caught up to all the episodes. It took me 4 weeks, and my wife nearly divorced me. I have a copy of the unofficial guide for 2009. Have a login for touringplans.com and www.today.com. Hoorah. Subscribe to allears.net, mousesavers.com, and always try to have Mouse World Radio 1 playing in the background at work. We're planning a trip to the world from October 11th to the 18th, 2009. We're using MEI and Mouse Fan Travel to help coordinate our trip. Thanks for all the help, Beth. Here are a few questions I hope you can help me with. Are there any touring plans similar to the Ultimate Magic Kingdom plan that allow you to do all the attractions, parades, and live shows, but do not drive your family into the ground? I'm wondering if there was a 2-day version that would allow us to partake in all the attractions, shows, and activities.
No, there's not a 2-day version of the Ultimate plan. That, we do occasionally get requests for it. That would be, that'd be interesting. The things that come close are any of the adult 2-day plans.
Right.
Those are pretty comprehensive. I mean, they
What are the adult plans, like either the 1 or 2-day plan, not have in it that the Ultimate one does? Is it just like stopping to see, the Family Fun Day? It's not there anymore, but you know what I mean?
It'd be it includes the parades, the fireworks, all the shows, all the minor shows.
Okay.
All that other stuff.
Okay. Scott also wants to know, are there similar plans for the studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom? Would the plans for studios and Animal Kingdom have to be 2 days, or could they be a 1 day?
Say that one more time. The middle
one park.
Yeah, are there ultimate plans for the studios, Epcot, or Animal Kingdom?
Oh no! You could definitely do them. Well, you do the Animal Kingdom probably in 6 hours if you had to. The studios, it really comes down to the scheduling of the shows, and then for the for Epcot, it's exceedingly difficult to see everything in 1 day, only because the duration of the presentations is so long. And then how do you fit in all the intervention stuff? It's not possible to do it all in 1 day.
Right.
So you're saying the studios would have to be 2 days, right?
It'd probably be like a day and a half, just like Epcot would have to be a day and a half.
Are you including Fantasmic?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it'd have to be a day and a half.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule is always difficult to work in, especially if you want to do them all.
Yep.
Any word on whether Walt Disney World's Sleepy Hollow Halloween Hayride at Fort Wilderness will occur this year? I would like to take the family on the ride, and have heard I should probably do the earlier evening shows that are toned more toward the younger crowd rather than the later shows, which will be more frightening. Of course, we'll be visiting Trails End while there.
Probably won't hear anything until June or July on that, my guess.
Yeah, they usually don't get Halloween stuff quite this early. As always, thank you for the informative and entertaining podcast, blogs, and partial differential equations.
Nice.
Next email is from Olivia Thomas of Wootton Bassett, Wiltshire, United Kingdom. Writes, hello,
Yeah.
Chaps and Annette. Quick question from over the pond regarding Memorial Day. Reading posts made on a British Disney forum, the dib.co.uk, it seems that the Memorial Day is treated somewhat differently to our Remembrance Day, which is quite a reflective, somber affair of wreath laying and church services. I've been reading of Memorial Day sales and high crowd levels. As Memorial Day falls on May 26th, there will be a lot of Brits in Orlando, as this is the time our kids are on, quote, spring break. So my question is, where's the best place to spend Memorial Day? Personally, we're planning on going to the Boggy Creek for an airboat ride, first thing, then heading to Blizzard Beach late morning and spend the day there. Is this sheer madness? Would love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, so an airboat. I think you definitely would do the airboat ride in the morning. You don't want to wait till it gets hot, right? Because then you got pigs and everything. Yeah, you definitely want to do it in the morning.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the gators are less active in the morning. So if something tragic befalls you, you kind of make a run for it.
What do you think of the water parks on Memorial Day, Len?
That's an interesting question. It's, locals though. So tourists drive the crowds at water parks, and weekdays are generally busier than weekends. Memorial Day though, most kids are. I don't think it's gonna be terrible if you get there early.
Right. Well, she wants to go to do the airboat ride and then go to the water park.
No, it's gonna be crowded. I wouldn't do it. And the only reason is all the lines. The lines are gonna be now, unless there's like an evening extra magic hour that day at the water park.
Yeah. What's your suggestion then as an alternative
for a water park?
Oh no, anything to do more after they do the airboat ride, so they're done around noon or so.
You could do Epcot in the afternoon. You could do miniature golf should be fun. They might be exhausted though. They might just need a quick break. Where are they staying?
Don't say.
Might be time for just a nap and a decent lunch and nap, and then some time at the pool. Maybe go see a movie at night or something.
Okay.
It's not tired there.
And in regard to Olivia's initial question about Memorial Day, it really isn't treated very, I don't want to say respectfully, but it isn't a major holiday in the United States in terms of, being somber or anything like that. Heck, I mean, on Christmas Day, people leave, at an evening to go do things at night because they can't get cooped up too late. But Memorial Day has become just a day off for everyone. It's kind of like July 4th, even though the connotation of it should be a little more somber. It isn't. It's like you said, Olivia, it's sales and people on vacation, enjoying their time off. I
remember when I was a kid, we used to go down to an actual memorial service.
Really?
With the armed forces there, but that was years ago.
Yeah, I always remember it just being a 3-day weekend. That's what it's always meant, for better or worse.
Communist.
That's right. Next email is from Karen from Princeton, Maine, who writes, love your podcast. I've been listening for about a year now. I'm planning to go to Epcot and the Magic Kingdom on Sunday, April 26th. It's my wife's birthday. Which would be better, parking at Epcot and after going on the rides there, take the monorail to Magic Kingdom, or parking at Ticket and Transportation Center, going to Epcot first, then backtracking to the Magic Kingdom? At Epcot, we're only planning to go to Soarin' and Test Track because we want to spend most of the day at Magic Kingdom, finishing the day off with Spectrum Magic and the fireworks. We are also planning to go to Animal Kingdom and the studios on the 28th. 3 adults and 5 teens. 2 have never been to any of the parks. Well, before we get to that question. So what do you think, Scopa? Going to Epcot first and parking there and then going to the Magic Kingdom, or going to the TTC first, parking, going to Epcot, then taking the monorail back and going to the Magic Kingdom?
Oh, man. I like option 1.
I would
just TTC?
No, option 1 is going to Epcot first. I was going to add, I would go with option 2, Mike, because if they get there early, let's say they got to the TTC like 8 a.m., right? Mm-hmm. So they park their car there, then they go to the monorail. They'll still make it to Epcot well before park opening, so they'll be there right for opening. And then they would, it's not like, I understand what you're saying, Mike. If they got to the TTC at 9 o'clock, then they'd hang out on that hour.
That's the key. The key is what time they get up in the morning. The key is how soon they can get to the TTC. Mm-hmm. That's the key right there.
Okay, so you would agree with me if they said that they were going to go to TTC at 8 a.m.?
Yeah, I would say yes. Right, it's got to be no later than 8 o'clock, though. I mean, they got to...
Yeah, because then they have to get to the... Right.
Yeah.
I think the TTC is a better choice.
Okay, very good. Next email. Oh, Karen had one more question. They're planning on going to the Animal Kingdom in the studios. What order would you suggest that we visit the attractions at these rides since we only have 2 days to tour? Well, Karen, I think you should definitely check out the touring plans at touringplans.com or in the back of the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World, which is even better because then you get the book and the touring plans.
Good.
Next email is from Jerry and Kristen of Dover, New Hampshire. Writes, hi everyone. Kristen and I got a kick out of meeting you a few weeks ago before your food and wine adventure. Sorry we had to ditch you for Le Cellier. 2 questions for you. What do you think of the Halloween party for adults without kids? We did the Christmas party a couple of years ago, but didn't think much of it. We never considered the Halloween party until we were at the California Grill on a party night. We took a monorail ride, and the train station looked and sounded pretty spooky. Spooky enough that we wanted to see the whole park, but is it worth $50 or more? We won't be there again until October 2010 at the earliest, so plenty of time to get to this one.
I thought this last Halloween party was really good. I thought the crowds were pretty moderate. I didn't get in line for much candy in any of the ones that we did. I did because Hannah was there, but except for the last 30 minutes, I thought we didn't wait much for anything. I thought it was a lot of fun. What about you guys?
Yeah, I enjoy the Halloween party. I think it's my favorite of the parties of the hard ticket events that they have at the Magic Kingdom. And I would say if you've never done it before, I would definitely say to go check it out at least once. It's great fun for adults. Get dressed up though. I mean, it sounds really corny, especially for adults, but I really think once you get there and you're dressed up, I think you'll really feel in place. What do you think, Scopa?
I agree, Matt. I think it's the best of the parties. So there's only 2 now. I think it's the best of the 2, and I think you get the most bang for your dollar, and it's very, very entertaining because you see a lot of interesting sights. And I think that Hallowishes is pretty cool. I think that the parade is really good. Yeah, I think the parade is really good. It used to be pretty lame, but it's very good now. And of course, seeing what's his name right up the guy with the the Headless Horseman.
Headless Horseman, yes.
That's pretty cool too. And it's just very, very entertaining. It's a very, very fun night, more so than the Christmas party.
Absolutely.
One thing I was surprised when watching, and it was the first time I saw the Headless Horseman this last October when I was with Hannah. That horse really moves. I mean, that horse is not just trotting along. That horse is at a trot, more than a trot. It's somewhere between a trot and a gallop.
It's all the horse. One time we watched it. We watched it right next to the trainer, and the trainer was telling us that the cast member has to depend upon the horse, and the horse has been doing it for like 17 years. The cast member who's inside that costume has a little slit, so he just depends upon that horse to know where to go. And that horse has just been doing it for so many years that it knows exactly where it has to go and how fast it can go too.
Jerry and Kristen also want to know. This is a great question for Len here. We had a chance to do 2 tours on our last trip, Keys to the Kingdom and Undiscovered Future World. Both tour guides mentioned the often discussed theory that most folks tend to go to the right. Our Magic Kingdom tour guide stuck with the standard tip that the left is faster because most folks go right. I know the unofficial guide team has tested this and found that it wasn't the case. But our Epcot tour guide seemed to indicate that the Imagineers know that folks want to go to the right and try to offset that in their design. I forgot to follow up on this with her, but I'm curious about your thoughts on this. Could there be something on Pirates or other split queues that makes the left side more appealing to offset this supposed right side bias?
So here's the interesting thing, because we have tested out at Pirates, and Pirates is really good because the queue looks essentially the same when you have to make your left side, right side decision. And the queues are also long enough that you don't have any indication of which line is longer. A couple things make the decision difficult. There's on the left side of Pirates, there's a little square room towards the end of the line, and depending on how Disney ropes that off, the queue is actually lengthwise longer if the entire queue is open on the left side than on the right side, meaning more people could go in it, meaning it would be longer. That being said, we've had 2 different teams of researchers ride Pirates over and over and over again during busier times of the year, and there's no discernible pattern to which line is longer. It really depends on what you. It's a lot of it's luck.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that we found is the biggest variable getting in is whether one side or the other has a wheelchair or an ECV guest.
Right.
So if you see someone in one of those lines, just get in the other line.
Okay.
But other than that, it should be even.
Next email is from Todd, who writes, who's better known as Jiniger on the boards. Hoorah! Is a question for all of us. My friends and I are taking a Disney cruise next year. Our flight into Orlando International is scheduled to arrive around 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon prior to the day of embarkation. I intend on renting a car to see some of the sights in the Orlando Disney area and drive to the port in the morning. Since my friend has never been to Florida or any Disney park before, ye God, I was wondering what highlights would you recommend in the Orlando Disney area? Seeing as our flight arrives so late in the day, I can't justify buying a park ticket for the few hours we could use it. I would, however, like to whet his appetite so that he will want to return later in the year when we can play in the parks.
What would you do?
My initial inclination was to bring him to maybe a place like Downtown Disney or even the Boardwalk. I would even say Boardwalk because then you can go watch the Epcot fireworks from over there.
Yeah, that's close. Yeah, it's a good idea actually.
Yep,
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. And then of course, in the next day when you're there, you're probably going to go straight to the port early in the morning because they'll start letting people on around noontime, so you can get a lunch and it's more time on the ship. So,
which means more food.
Exactly. Next email is from EJ from oh my God, Hopa. It's from New Jersey. Who writes, "Dear Matt, Mike, and Len,
Okay.
I'm a 13-year-old kid. I just stayed at the Swan, which is in the Epcot resort area. I thought the location was great. I was just wondering what your favorite resort area and each of your opinions are and why. It must be based only on location. Love the podcast."
Ooh, great question.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite EJ has got to be the Polynesian Resort, obviously for its proximity to the Magic Kingdom.
He's asking what your favorite resort area is.
Oh, my favorite resort. Well, all right.
Right?
Yeah, my favorite resort area. I thought you meant like what? Our favorite resort. Whatever. You answer the question, Len.
See, Matt, you listened with your ears. I listened with my heart.
That must be it.
This is a great question though, because I think. Well, hold on. First of all, first question. None of us is picking the Animal Kingdom resort area, right?
Oh Jesus, no. No, it's nice. It's just not close to anything.
So, the thing I like about the Epcot resort area is its proximity to really good restaurants. If you like food, and as EJ's email referenced, you're staying Epcot, and I like. Obviously, I love Epcot, the park, but there's something magical about the. I gotta use the word magical about the Magic Kingdom. I know.
Just don't use the word dream.
Yeah, all my wishes come true. About the Magic Kingdom resorts, and I think we said this on previous shows. But when I was a kid, I was fascinated by the monorail going through the Contemporary Resort, and I thought that the people that were staying there must have just been really, really special. And now that I'm staying there, I think it's true. Thank you. So if it wasn't for the Grand Floridian, which I still think is overpriced, it'd be it'd be a great monorail loop. So I have to go with a slight edge to Epcot on that.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I was gonna try to come up with some argument for the Magic Kingdom one, but I'd be lying to say that if I had to choose one right now, it'd probably be the Epcot one.
Do the studios?
Epcot is it's centrally located too.
Yeah. Does the studios have a resort area?
No, not really. It's really the Epcot, Magic Kingdom, or Animal Kingdom. Like All-Star is considered Animal Kingdom. Caribbean Beach is considered Epcot.
What about Bonnet Creek and Port Orleans?
Port Orleans is Epcot.
Port Orleans is not Epcot. Port Orleans is Magic Kingdom.
It is?
No, it's
Port Orleans.
Yeah, I thought.
There's no way. Hold on.
Wait a minute. You're talking. You're saying Port Orleans is not considered a Magic Kingdom resort?
No, it's considered an Epcot resort.
There's no way.
Yeah, no. The Magic.
I think it's a Bonnet. I think it's considered a Bonnet Creek resort, guys. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Like I said,
Coronado Springs is a.
It's considered a Bonnet Creek resort. Saratoga Springs, Old Key West.
Well, there you go.
Orleans.
Downtown Disney Resort area.
Yeah, technically it's Bonnet Creek.
Yeah, whatever. Close enough. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, EJ. Next email is from Annie, who writes, "Hello to the WDW Today team from Len Testa's hometown of Youngstown, Ohio.
Hoot.
I know I have a little...
Go Penguins. Go ahead.
I know I have a little while to ask this, but since we wanted to book so soon and start making payments, I thought it would be good to ask early. My fiance and I are going to get married on November 21st, 2009, and we'll be taking our honeymoon at the Walt Disney World Resort. We're going to be taking a dream Disney vacation, deluxe hotel, dining, and wine plan, the works. Sweet. Obviously, we will be there during Thanksgiving. Since I have never been during this time, I have a few questions. What are the crowds like in the 4 parks?
Reasonably crowded that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Although this year will be interesting. Last year was crowded, but it's not like, a Christmas, Easter, President's Day crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You got 8s and 9s.
Okay. Are there any special parades on Thanksgiving Day? Not that.
In New York, there's a Macy's Thanksgiving. Are you talking about in Disney World? No, I don't think there's anything special there.
Is there any special dining on Thanksgiving?
Yes, and you would definitely want to make those reservations as early as possible. Now,
if they're announced, I don't think they're announced yet. What the special dining options are?
No, but you can look at all years for past menus and get an idea.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They won't change.
Next email is from Matthew. Writes, "Hello, fellas, and anybody else you can guilt into coming out to the show. My question has to do with DVC. I'm not a member of the DVC family, but I have been looking into renting or transferring points to a coworker of mine for a large family trip. The prices seem acceptable, but I'm still a little leery. Have any of you ever done this or have run into a situation where somebody you know has?" Well, but Len, you've heard nothing. I haven't heard anything but good things about people who rent DVC points generally, right?
Anytime you're dealing with another human being, something can go tragically wrong. But yeah, in general, I think, especially if you're dealing with someone who's been on a board for a long time and has, a fairly solid reputation there.
Very nice. Next email is from Brett Hancock, who writes, "Hello, Matt, Mike, Len, and maybe even Annette. I want to thank you all for your assistance in planning our recent trip to Walt Disney World. You had me on episode 380, and we just returned home from a week-long trip on October 5th through 11th. Based on your advice from the episode and the other 2 tips I picked up from the show, I purchased 1 annual pass and booked 2 connecting rooms in Port Orleans Riverside. We originally booked room-only reservations, but just a couple of weeks before starting our trip, Disney offered free dining during the time of our stay. This worked out especially great since we already had ADRs for the times we wanted. In all, I estimate that we saved about $1,500 between the AP discounted rooms and free dining." Nice. A few highlights of the trip. Early breakfast at Cinderella's Castle. We were finished eating before the park opened and enjoyed the, quote, empty park. Dinner at Chef Mickey's, a Hancock family favorite. Lunch at Coral Reef and the Sci-Fi Theater. I call this the anti-WDW Today dining plan, but the kids loved it and we had a great time. Took in the Hoop-de-Doo musical review. And attended Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party on our last night. Let me know if you need any additional info for a follow-up show. Thanks again for helping me with this great trip.
Welcome back.
Fabulous.
We're glad we were able to help you out on there, Brett. Next email is from Emily from Wisconsin, who writes, "Dear Matt, Mike, and Len, I love your podcast. Okay, how many times do you have to hear that a day? 1,000, 1 million? Well, let me add mine to the pile. Okay, now on to my question. Why did Disney change the name from Disney MGM Studios to Disney's Hollywood Studios? I've heard some rumors, but I wanted to hear it from the experts." Well, there's 2 main reasons, I believe, Emily. Disney won't officially ever comment on it, but I think the consensus is one of 2 things. One, the deal that Disney had with MGM was going to expire, wasn't going to renew it, didn't want to renew it, too expensive to renew it, whatever it may be. The contract was going to expire and Disney needed to change it. 2, because even before they changed the name of it, MGM had a lot of licensing issues along with it. Meaning, like, if you ever watched any of those DVDs that you would order from Disney, you would get them and they'd be like, say, here's at the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and they would never call it the Disney MGM Studios. They'd always call it Disney Studios or something like that, and that would always lead to some speculation. So the name change just made sense, especially after they got rid of production at the studios and it was no longer really the Disney MGM Studios anymore. And they even mentioned in the rededication of the park that they were really trying to change the park's focus had changed, and so the name needed to be changed as well. So between those 2 reasons, I hope that can kind of make some sense to you, Emily. Next email is from Joe of Danvers, Massachusetts. Writes, "Hello all. I have a question about calling a Disney resort in advance to confirm a reservation. Len had mentioned repeatedly on the show that to improve your chances of getting any special room locations requests fulfilled, such as a favorite building, to call the hotel directly 4 or 5 days before scheduling your check-in date. I've done this at least 5 times that I've stayed at a Disney World resort, and each time they try to pawn me off to Central Reservations office, and I had to explain that I want to confirm the reservation with someone who actually works at the resort.
Yeah.
I'm staying at the Polynesian this trip, and I just got off the phone with them and got the same runaround. I wanted to find out from Len if this is normal, or am I on the list that Disney maintains of difficult guests who make nuisances of themselves by calling the resorts directly to confirm reservations. I use the excuse that I've had problems in the past where special room location requests get lost when they are transferred from the central reservations office to the resort itself. The part that kills me is that it happened to me with the Polynesian. My request for a third floor room was missing. I took little solace in my partial vindication. What do you think, Lon?
So that's the thing. You if you have the direct number to the resort, I would call it. Otherwise, they're just going to try and transfer you over to central reservations. But that doesn't. That's the thing. I mean, you're going to some office in Tampa or in Kansas City, or maybe you're going to an offsite place in Orlando. But you really want to be as close to the person who's making the room allocations as possible. And so that's the thing. Now, the problem with that, the reason why Disney's sending everyone to the central reservations is it ties up people who should be working at the resort, right? So Disney tries to not to do that.
Okay. Well, it's time for our last question of the day, and since Mr. Newell is no longer with us today, I guess that falls on to Mr. Scope. Are you ready to find the last question, Mike?
Of course.
All right. Here are your options, Mike. Is Disney listening? Coronado Springs, love it or hate it, or deluxe dining plan? So
I'm very curious about, is Disney listening?
All right. Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That was awesome.
That was your audio repeated about 8 times, but okay.
It's like having max headroom on the show.
Our last email of the day comes from Michael Bergeland of Minneapolis, Minnesota, where writes, "Hey, Matt, Mike, Len, and whomever else you've persuaded to be with you today. I'm going to the world November 16th to the 23rd, and for the past few months have been listening to show archives and such every day as I go on long, quote, virtual walks around World Showcase. You are the best Disney podcast that I found. I've been to the world 5 times before and have never had a Dole Whip. I'm going to run straight for it at the rope trap this time. My question, though, is this. To what extent do you guys have contact with Disney organization? Do they listen to the podcast? Have you gotten any feedback that the comments, suggestions, gripes, and loves that you have discussed on the podcast actually reach the ears of Disney management? Have you seen any effect at all at the parks based on something on the show, or the reverse? Has anyone from Disney ever contacted you to say, bad nerds, when you criticize something? Keep up the good work, for better or worse. Your enthusiastic voices will be ringing in my ears as I roam around the parks. I mean, stick to my touring plan from the unofficial guide. I just said that so I could hear the ding."
Nice. Thanks.
All right, so contact. Well, we do have we the podcast do have a Disney contact. They have a new social media department actually, which works really well with us in terms of getting our requests, in terms of getting invited to events and working with them. So they've been really good, and that's only been something we've really been doing with them for the past a year or two. I mean, the first couple of years of the podcast really had no contact with Disney. But that being said, I don't know about you guys, but I've run into a couple of different cast members who definitely listen to the show, both ground level cast members, the ones who work like Space Mountain, and higher up management. So I definitely think that they're aware of them. I have actually a funny story. I was at a recent media event, and someone had mentioned to they were talking to one of the Disney people over there. There was a Disney manager talking to somebody else who was at the event, and he overheard that that I was here. He's like, "Matt Houseberg is here?"
How was that?
It was great. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Probably wanted to hide the food.
Probably.
It's like, close the open bar. But have you guys run into instances where cast members have indicated to you that they listen?
Oh, yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah, I mean, I know that. I mean, we have a number of listeners who are some are more overt than others. I know Valerie, who works at the Magic Kingdom, cast member, guest relations rather. Wanted to say hi to her. I know that she listens.
Oh, hi Val, Valerie Ogilvy.
That's right. Yep.
Hi Val. Hi Val.
So you guys are. I mean, let me ask you this. I think the answer to this is no, but I don't think. Can you think of anything where we've said something? I mean, I don't think anything's been directly attributed to us by any means. I mean, we're not that important.
Yeah, I don't think anything's been directly attributed to us. I think we've mentioned, though, on past shows where the unofficial guide has looked at things like lighting and pillow fluffiness and bed linens, and then within the next year, Disney started to make changes on those things. And it could be a coincidence. It could be something that they were already planning on doing anyway. But
right. I think they weigh what we're saying, what the regular guest says. All these things. They take a lot of different influences in and make their decisions for better or worse. So they're definitely listening. It's not like they just yell bah humbug in our general direction and it's out of Disney property whenever they see us. I mean, they've actually been very good to us. So
they
cannot complain about that one bit.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI Mouse Fan Travel. And you know what? They never shoo you away at MEI Mouse Fan Travel. In fact, they're almost like your best friends over there. I know that I call Annette a lot of times and say, Annette, how's it going? And then she says, Matt, I got to do some work over here. But you know what? If I was actually a paying customer at the time, she would definitely have time for me.
She'd totally listen to whatever you're saying.
That's right. And if you want to have your next trip help you get planned that much easier, I know that wasn't very good English, but they actually are very good at English and planning your trip to Walt Disney World. So why not give them a try? Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com. That's it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW website at wdwtoday.com. For our Lentis to Mike Scopa and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.